You're like, that'll do. That's so funny. Let me see if I can.
Rocks.
He eats rocks? No way. That's my mom. My mom's old dog. Fly used to do that, and he literally would swallow them. Does he swallow the rocks?
Usually not, but if I try taking them away, yes. So I just let him do whatever he wants to do because usually he'll drop them and it's cool. But then I'm like, don't eat that. He's like, oh, you're going to take it away from me? No, you're not.
Right. Oh, you on mute. Your little red line is there, babe. I think we're broadcasting. We'll get a hang of this. Okay, so your little your green screen is on. Let me see. Is it even filming? Oh, there we go. There we go. You know what? Why don't I? Babe, where'd you go? Where'd you go, my love? Where'd you go, my love? I don't know where to put this thing. Okay. What if I did this? Oh, sweet love. Did you go off of there? No. You're right here. See, I'm confused on the little doodads. But
are you there?
Yes, there you are, doll. So look it. I think this is gonna work. Check it out. So there you are. This is pretty 90s kids right here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see anything.
Oh, whoops. No.
Okay,
there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, we are back. We are okay. I don't think there's anybody. Yeah, there's nobody on here anyway. But you know what? I clicked the replay button, so it'll be able to be uploaded now at least. And then, can you see me? Yes, you can see me, right? That'll work.
I can't see you, but I see the Oakland Raiders thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on a second. Maybe. Dude.
Now I see
like the tapestry. Watch.
Yeah.
I will make it work. Watch this. We're gonna get the angle down pat, and then we'll have it on both thingy-mabobs.
So how do you feel about the Oakland Raiders now that they're not the Oakland Raiders?
Oh my gosh, I had withdrawal. Okay, so we've been going. My dad took me to Niners games, San Francisco for all my life, and then I met Aaron at 15. So he started taking me to the Raiders games, and I just totally got into it. Like before kids, during the kids, some pastime. I don't really think that me and him have any other activities. You know what I'm saying? Beside that, and so. No, dude, I did this. I'm so stubborn that when they announced they were leaving, I'm like, oh, okay, I hope they know that they're getting divorced for me then. I'm like, going to totally divorce them. I'm like, it's done. I'm like, they're moving. And so, it was emotional. We went to the last game at the Oakland Coliseum and, they left and I don't want to say that I am not a fan. I'm for sure a fan, but it feels like a divorce. It feels like it's an ex-husband and I love them so much, but it's not the same.
There you are.
Yay, I'm moving. I'm on the move, girl. Okay. So how do you feel about that kind of stuff? Are you into sports? Do you watch any kind of sports?
I am into hockey,
Woo!
But I haven't really watched anything recently. I don't have TV, so I just pay for the Netflix and the Hulu and whatever.
The streaming, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never been to a hockey game, and I want to go desperately.
Oh my gosh, you should go. I love hockey games.
We're really, really close to the darn the Sharks. We're in Sunnyvale, and it's only about 5 miles to the Shark Tank. They call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I hear it's super, super fun. It's just a live environment and just really fun. So I want to try it.
And I like watching the fights. The fights are always fun. And it's just a different feel. Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's whenever you watch it, it's kind of like boxing and a sporting event into one. It's so cool. What would you do if your team, whatever you support, if your team you supported in hockey you left, would you still support them or how would you feel? I was so bummed. Well, support the local team, but my favorite team is the Penguins, and they are from Pittsburgh. So I was never really like attached to like a local team. Like the Avalanche is cool, and when I go to games, I root for the Avalanche. Or when I watch them, unless they're playing against the Penguins, then I'm always like, Penguins go. And that's one of the games that we usually try to go to is the Pens versus the Avs.
That's fine.
And it's always fun because my husband would root for the Avs and I'd root for the Penguins.
So fun.
So it was a fun game.
That is fun. The Avalanche are in Denver? Denver Avalanche?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we're so... we're not California, so there's only one team.
Right? I know. And then now we bon voyage. They both left out of Oakland. The basketball team, the Warriors, they were in Oakland, and so was the Raiders. And then the same time, the Warriors, even though they say they're still in the Bay Area, they are, but they went way up to San Francisco, like way up north. So it's like in the city. So they changed, and I feel bad because Oakland, it was a demographic that needed that kind of work and stuff like that. Speaking of AI or whatever is taking people's work away, you know what I mean? So anyways, my darling. So that is so cute. He likes to take his time and his little treats. He's so funny. He's like a little toddler, like a little baby. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh my God, dude, I just want to love him. I want to snuggle with him.
He's a disaster. He's a hot mess.
You're like, he's a hot mess. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yesterday while we were talking, he got my coffee and it was all over the bed.
No way.
I was so upset. Yeah.
Dude, what does he do? Try to eat the cup? Or does he try to he just messes with it? Like Mochi will come and step on the computer on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, Mom, I'm jealous. You know what I mean?
I think it's mostly the cup.
Okay.
But I think he likes the coffee too because it has the milk in it.
Yes.
And I think he knows that that's where we get whipped cream from. So I'm not quite sure what all he thinks when he gets it, but he's bad with that and soda cans lately. Like, he will get them full, he will get them empty, and he will just shred them up. I don't know how his tongue is not cut.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how, I don't know. It's just amazing.
He shreds them. That's so funny. So you come home and there's little 10 foil pieces or whatnot, aluminum everywhere.
Yeah. The first day I was like, what the heck? I looked all over his mouth. Like, I don't know how he doesn't cut himself. Right?
They're like Houdini. My mom's dog, our family dog, Miko, he would unwrap a deli sandwich, like the tape and everything, hella stealthy in the freaking car. And then we're like, how did you do that? And then he's like, the paper is untouched. I'm like, they are crafty. Okay.
Would just eat the wrapper.
Yeah. That's hella funny. That's like my mom's other dog. Anything but sweets or treats. It was so funny. Like the cardboard, anything the little keys, whatever you name it. What about, does your dog eat sweets? Does he like sweet things? Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, he likes fruits and vegetables. And I haven't found, there's one thing that he wouldn't eat, and it's a pretzel.
Interesting.
And I don't know why he won't eat a pretzel.
Was it the soft kind or the hard kind?
The hard kind.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of those hard.
He eats chips. He eats anything I get. It's annoying.
That's so funny.
It's so annoying because he's like, what's
he's all hello. I know, right?
No, leave me alone. No.
It's hella funny, dude. Mochi eats. My mom was staying over here for a couple weeks, and she had guinea pigs, and she would feed them hay and spinach leaves. Tell me why he came up like he was a little pack animal. He straight eats it. I will show you. It's so funny. Everyone I tell it, they're like, really? Yeah, right. I'm like, no, he does. Okay, so look at, I filled up all of these pages. We will not obviously get to all of them today, but they're kind of different I was like, let me think of something different to ask her. So it might be a simple question, but would you ever go on a ghost tour? One of those things. Yeah. So would I. I don't go looking for it ooh, and I'm not into Ouija boards. I'm totally against, but a ghost tour I think would be so cool because it's historical, and also who knows, what you could see.
Yes, there's a couple that I want to go on. There's another friend of mine that works on Justice Takes Flight. She's a board member, and she's always talking about wanting to come out to Colorado and us doing some kind of tour like that. So I'm totally interested. But I wonder if some of those tours aren't I mean, of course, they're tourist traps, but there's got to be some out there that are like legit real.
Oh yeah.
So I like to try to find those. And there's been some crazy things that I've done, and like there's one road, I can't remember the name of it.
Ooh, where the lady walks down or something, where you see the lady walking in the middle of the highway?
No, it's like known here in I think it's in the Denver area. Okay. But something about, like, you go down the road and you see, like, at night you'll see handprints of, like, I can't remember if it's children. I can't remember the story that it is, but you see handprints on, like, the signs on the roads up to a certain area. And then there was a friend of mine who said that she pulled over and she was with a couple of friends and they were in the car and they pulled over and they stopped. And then there was just a bunch of handprints all over the car.
Crazy. I believe it. I believe it instantaneously. That stuff just gives me the chills because I always tell people, like, the angels, the entities, the spirits, my dad, the people who passed, the things that I connect with have never given me a heebie-jeebie feeling. They've never given me, like, bad advice or given me insecurities. It's like you explained the NDE. It's like nothing but love and support no matter what. Even if I'm smoking a cigarette or whatever I'm supposed to not do, And I've never been like that, but I do know that I get the eerie feeling if something, anomalous happens and I can tell. I'm like, whoo, I don't mess with that thing. Where's my sage? Where's my incense? Get it out. Oh, okay. So on that note, ghost tours, yes. I think that is so cool. We should plan a field trip and do all of the above. We have so many things on our list. Tattoo, journey time, and do a ghost tour. And Anasazi. We can do all of it. So what about, this is
for like a week.
Yes. I mean, dead serious. I cannot actually wait to actually plan that. I think that this is fabulous. And this is what life is about, is experiencing, right? Instead of just, I could have done what I was doing for years and that would have been horrible. Like, the escape thing and just, assuming that there was an afterlife for my dad, but you kind of, I was just in a dreary place. And I feel that I was thinking and singing your prayers last night about how healing it truly is for you to tell your story to people who are grieving. Like I've told my mom a million times, and she was so happy. Like her main thing, of course, my dad, but she, her dogs and she's like, really? She saw a bear? Okay. So, you know what I mean? And she's like, very, very encouraged. So I can only imagine what you do to the parents of the kids that you know what I mean, are helping with the parents' grief. Okay, so about the ghost tour, what do you think? I know this is totally kind of related, but what do you think at all in general about Sasquatch, about Bigfoot?
I don't think that there is such a thing, but I do think that there is maybe such an animal out there that could be similar
misconstrued. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Like a skunk ape or something? Like an ape that walks on feet or something?
Yeah.
Okay. My thing is, I know it's crazy far-fetched Pisces me, but after all my things that I witnessed, I had to, reevaluate all those type of things. And I thought, okay, wow, there are so many people that they look you dead in the eye on those interviews, like you and I, and they're like, this occurred. So I'm thinking because of this random occurrence of UFOs being spotted near a Sasquatch, I'm thinking maybe it is like portals, like interdimensional travel. Perhaps, perhaps it could be because, so many people report it. Whoa, just like so many people report things that other people haven't experienced. And so I do not know. I don't have a definite answer, but I think that it is something, like you said, it's something that people are seeing.
This is an interesting thought. There was a lady and she was talking about levels and she had a near-death experience and she said that she saw, I can't remember how many levels, a lot of levels.
Okay.
But she said that it goes for like ever. Like there's tons of levels. Like there's a mermaid level. There's there's a
I believe
like
it.
unicorn area level. Like so there's all these different types of levels that you can go to or experience,
like
or
dimensions, right?
So maybe there's some type of alien, and she did say there's alien levels.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some type of weird alien / Sasquatch looking level.
Yes.
And that area is just, or where whoever saw it at the time, it was just some weird portal thing.
Yes.
And that's what that, you know. So, I mean, I think it's very much something maybe like that.
Yes,
but
me
I don't
too.
think there's an actual Sasquatch walking on the planet.
Agree.
Waiting to be found.
Agree. I think it is like just what we said, the possibility of it being, you know, able to kind of be seen through the veil, you know, that's what the type of thing. I even think that that's what's up with ghosts. You know what I'm saying? That we are getting a glimpse into that dimension real quick.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just, their presence, their strong energy is making them do that. What about this? It's in there and I got the chills. What about how some reports of ghosts, the same exact action will be witnessed? For instance, the lady will walk down the stairs looking the same, and then the person will come the lady will walk down. Do you think that's like a timeline loop? Like it's just energy there? It's not truly, you know, a ghost? Or do you think that is someone perhaps that is stuck with their own thoughts, doesn't want to move on, and they just keep on looping for years and years, just walking, you know, in that same pattern down the stairs?
So there's a couple ways you could go with that. In my mind, I don't want to think that you get stuck.
Me neither.
I don't think anybody really gets stuck. Now, could there be some kind of hell to it? And maybe
that's hell, like the purgatory type of thing over and over. That's their punishment. Yeah.
Well, now I know that other near-death experiencers have seen or gone to hell or whatever.
Those freak me out, by the way. Those stories.
I know, right?
Oh God.
But in mine, I never, you know, in mine, I kind of took it as there wasn't any hell. Like the level that we're on now is kind of that.
The hell.
This is it.
Yeah, that's what spirit tells me. I mean, I know I haven't had one, but that is like what is conveyed to me, but I have not witnessed. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
So maybe there's another negative level that is for like the really bad people.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're shown something really bad in an attempt to get them to change.
Yeah.
And that really bad is really just something that is, I don't want to say made up, but you know, it's
a holographic. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's not really a hell.
Yes.
So maybe it has something to do with somebody, like, because it seems like in mine, I kind of got the message of you kind of pay for what you kind of done at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And because there was a little bit of like pain at the very beginning.
For you, there's pain, like emotional or physical?
It was physical.
Okay.
I couldn't decipher if it was. At first, I thought I was going to hell. I mean,
did you really? You had that
crazy.
thought?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, this is hell. Oh my God. But then it suddenly like changed. It was just a very split second. So then I thought, okay, and this is me thinking after, you know.
Yeah, retrospect.
But me thinking, okay, well maybe that was me having the change, like leaving my body.
Transitioning, and
okay. Yeah, so maybe that was that. Or maybe it was me paying for what little bit I needed to. And maybe we do. Maybe there is a little bit of period of time where you go through something to pay for something. So maybe that is a loop of her walking that or doing that as payment of something.
Yeah, interesting.
Or
intriguing, yeah.
Maybe it is energy, like
resonant energy I've heard of. Like I know a lot of psychics will say there's resonant energy, which is basically not the entity. It's just it was so powerful, the energy. You see that kind of over and over. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that, but I honestly don't think that there's a lot of stuck people.
Yeah. I think it's rare. I honestly think it's rare. I also think, what do you think about this? I also think that whatever process, like, whether we atone for it, whether we are healed by angels, whatever happens, I feel that there is a choice for everybody, even the bad, the horrible people that we won't mention. I think there is a choice to take a look and face what you've done and maybe get that penance or whatnot. And if you don't choose to, maybe that is what entities are stuck in that situation, because they're just like, no, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to deal with it. And so they're perpetually in that state until they're ready to take a look at what they've done and put themselves in someone else's shoes. I don't know, but I think that I just don't know how to explain, other than it's kind of like the near-death experience where you can't put into words. There's a knowing, and it sounds crazy because, Lord knows a lot of people, oh, he's going to be on the YouTube and I love him. But no, I just think that there is something in me, especially getting more, I guess, meditative and closer to God, the higher power, spirit, is something is telling me, no, like you said, this is like the hardest level. This is hell. Your avatar is right here. Our higher self is like up there. I don't know how to convey it. And this is just truly the suffering, the murder, just everything that we go through, abuse, everything else. That is not, I'm not saying because we, are getting punishment now. Who knows though? Maybe we're on, this is a level of a dimension, you know what I mean? But,
right.
I feel that is, I don't feel that there is fire and brimstone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never have. Even as a little kid, I never liked going to church because I never.
It didn't sound right.
Understood.
Yeah.
I never understood how somebody, a god or a, entity of something like that could make it to where if somebody was sick with depression and ended up healing themselves, how they could end up eternity in somewhere like hell.
Exactly.
It didn't make sense to me then, and it still doesn't now. So
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, going back to what you were saying about the whole, I definitely believe that suicide, you are accepted. I think. Let me see. What are you doing up there? Wait, is that your cat right there? Hold on.
No,
that's a little toy. Oh yeah.
He's eating paper.
Oh my gosh, is that what it is? Hold on, I can't see.
Yes.
What did you do? That's hecka funny. Is that like a that looks like a big old newspaper or something, like a oh, it's like a garbage sack? I mean, a shopping sack?
Something like that. It came in like the Chewy box. It like was wrapped in something, and the cat decided to get it out of the box, and then the dog decided to eat it.
Oh my gosh.
He's taking it apart right now, and then if I go try to take it away from him, he'll eat it.
That's so cute.
But he is eating some of the pieces.
So Chewy is the delivery service, right? For the pet stuff. Do you like it? Is it economical and stuff? Do you like it?
I love it.
Oh, I'm going to try it.
It seems like it has the same prices, if not a little cheaper.
Okay.
And they deliver to your door free.
Free, okay.
And they have the best customer service ever.
That makes such a difference.
Oh my gosh. If I have any issues, they fix it right away or whatever.
I love that.
And then I get birthday cards for the animals.
Oh.
They ask when their birthday is.
That's so cute.
And then once in a while, there was one time something just showed up at the door and it was like, here's a treat for Yeti, and here's
I love that.
Kind of weird. And then I've seen posts on Facebook about how, and one of them was my friend, so I know it's legit. I know it's not just like a marketing ploy or whatever.
Yeah.
But they'll buy or they'll go to buy food and it's being shipped to them, or they had just gotten a bag of dog food and their dog will have passed for some reason or another. And they'll ask the Chewy if like they can send it back if it's unopened or whatever. And Chewy always has them donate it to a local shelter. They give them their money back. And then the next day they get flowers delivered to them.
Dude. Do you understand how beautiful that is? That's love. See, if corporations would just take after that motto, that makes me want to cry. That's freaking beautiful. That's fucking beautiful.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Like, and she showed the flowers and everything, and it was just from Chewy. Like, I was, and I've seen so many other posts like that. Like, yeah, Chewy gets my money for sure.
Yeah, that would make my day. That would make your life. You know that somebody cares, and then they are animal lovers. So you know what? Shout out to. I just went to CVS, and it was a fundraiser for ASPCA, and they were like trying to, get me to pay $30 a month with my check card and stuff. I'm like, no, I can't afford it now. But I'm like, you know what? I will shout it out. I do I do spit animal videos. I do spirit animal videos. I'm like, check it out. So it's interesting because, that just tugs at my heartstrings, and I know you're an animal lover too. So that's really cool that they say donate it to something that needs it. That's like all around, like, we get a standing O for that, dude. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a really weird phenomena. I used to kind of be obsessed with it, and I don't know, I haven't touched it since my spiritual awakening. What do you think about spontaneous combustion? Like, what is your thoughts? Do you think that's just an anomaly in a place at the earth and something just happens? Do you think that's partly because what I kind of think is maybe it's our energy is mixed with some sort of, I don't know, magnetism or something at the wrong time? I don't think it's paranormal, so to speak, where it's like demons. You know what I mean? I don't know what to think about that, but I wanted to ask you.
I don't know what to think about that. I think it's strange and crazy and
really weird. Spooky, I know. We're like, next question.
I don't know if it's their energy mixed with something they ate.
Yeah, true. Like acid, you never know. Like I've seen people that have like, they eat a grapefruit and then they have a battery or something, and then something just happens. I don't know. Yeah, citrus and whatever. You never know. We don't know. Jack.
Maybe they were wearing their iPhone watch and they had their iPad on and then they were thinking about meditating and then they ate an apple. I don't know.
Right? Then they walked into a portal and it was all over. Yeah, no, seriously.
I don't know. I think I like to think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So I would have to really look into a case and try to see the spider effects out of it to see maybe why it happened or something.
Commonalities between some of the cases, right? Like that would be fun to figure out with you. Oh my gosh. So what about the people that get struck by lightning multiple times after they get struck once? What is that? That has always fascinated me because these people are just, I don't get it. You know what I mean? The lightning finds them.
Something to do with your own electricity.
Yeah. It's like a vibration that is maybe attracted to it or something, or?
Yeah, and maybe once you're electrocuted once, you have this energy that is more easily attracted to it, maybe?
Yeah, like magnetized toward the lightning would find it. Yeah, that makes sense.
I remember there was one time I was going through, I don't know, when you have your phone issues and you have to have your phone sent back and you get a refurbished phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever gone into the refurbished cycle.
The refurbished cycle, you mean?
So when you get, I've had it happen to me multiple times.
So have I, but I don't know what.
Well, where you get a refurbished phone, and then it works for a little bit, and then you have to get a different one. And then it's just a vicious cycle where it's refurbished phone after phone after phone.
It's usually the battery, too. Or in my past, it's been the battery,
Well, so I talked to one person, and he told me once, he asked me once, he's like, do you wear a watch? And I'm like, no, I don't wear a watch. He's like, well, the next time you're at Walmart or something, go buy a cheap battery watch and just wear it and see. He said that there are people in the world that are more magnetized or magnetic or whatever than others, and they will wear out electronics way more than other people.
Me and my mom. Dude.
Yeah. So he thinks that I'm one of those people.
You are.
Because I go through electronics like crazy.
Yep. I was just going to ask you if you shut off computers and registers when you go into like stores and stuff, like they'll be like, oh, wait, this stopped. I was going to ask you that last time. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes. Like the watches, cameras, and that explains that what you're saying about the theory about the phones, that is what's causing it. You know, yes. So this guy actually told you, what did he say? That it is actually, we are more magnetic as our energy inside than other people.
Yeah. Like he said that there's just something about different people and they're more magnetized, I think he said, than others.
You know what?
So he said, so if you go get a battery watch, he's like, I bet you if you wear it, it will wear out a lot quicker than it should or normally would or whatever.
Yeah.
And that would prove that it's you and what, yeah.
Hey, do you think that it has to do with something like the iron in the blood? And I was going to ask you, do you know what blood type you have?
A positive.
Okay, so I have like the RH negative, you know, that people always like, it's a RH negative, I can universally donor, and that's what people always like talk about. You're alien, you know, because it's like only 2% of the world. But I was gonna say maybe that would be a clue, like, you know what I mean, if it was like some sort of iron in your blood or something. But I think that is interesting. I wonder if it has to do with, you know, our pineal gland has those crystals, real crystals in there, just like the birds. They just found out that birds have crystals in their pineal gland, and that's how they think they can hone in to fly and know where they're going, north and south. So I feel like maybe it has something to do with, that. It's interesting, right? That is so intriguing. Yeah, that's trippy. Yeah, that I mean, there's been some really strange things, like especially after my dad passed, where me and my mom, we went on a trip. We both had, like, back in the day, they had these Advantix. It was when we were still putting film in the cameras. And both of us, you know, we had bought, I don't know, clearance, whatever. And at the same exact time, like second, our cameras stopped completely working. And then it was something else, and it was something else. And it was just odd. I'm just like, huh. So maybe we are more magnetic when we are transferring energy or, you know, having a spirit that is near us or something like that. You know what I mean? That's very intriguing.
Maybe. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a trip. It is such a trip.
I've never heard it again. Like, that was the only guy that's like told me that. And then I've told other people and they're like, oh, I've heard that too. But like, I've never heard that. Thank you for telling me. I've only discussed it with certain people, like, what? Oh, that happens to you. And I've heard psychics talk about that. That's a phenomenon. I've never heard somebody like say, hey, yeah, this is because of this. You know what I mean? Right.
So that's intriguing. That's so interesting. Okay, what else is on this little thing? Oh, okay. So this is a what would you do, Brittany? This is a hypothetical. So let's just say SpaceX or Elon Musk or NASA calls you up, right? And you will get a brand new tricked out house mansion, and you get to own it forever and hand it down to whomever you want. You get acres of land, you get stipend for spending and food, and you are offered, though, one of the first passenger transport space flights to Mars, and you can never come home. And they've already tested it out, so you're not really worried that you're going to, you know, die or anything. You're not going to get hurt. But would you do that to be one of the first, like, pioneers? I don't know why Mars, that whole thing freaks me out. It shouldn't. But it just is odd to me. So I'm just wondering, would you do that if somebody approached and said, this is the deal, we need people to go up there?
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's neat. I think that you're very much of a person, like, take one for the team and for the all. So if it was important and we had to get out of here because there's a meteor coming, I'm sure I would, you know. Oh.
Well, and it would kind of depend on, like, when. Like, if it was now, I totally would.
Yeah.
But, like, because I don't really have anybody in my life right now.
Yeah.
So it would be really easy to, like, just up and leave and go experience something new.
Hey, I've experienced all the family and everything. I'm the same as you. Single living to Mars. We'll go up there and colony and pollinate. Yeah, but I was thinking that question. I'm like, I got to ask her, you know, what would you do that scenario? You know, it's interesting.
Do they have, like, you know, seeds of like vegetables and fruits and weed. Like,
yeah. There must be ganja. There must be some marijuana. That would be a prerequisite for sure, dude. And then on the ride there too. Oh,
then I think we're good.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I hadn't list that. I couldn't list that first. I had to make sure it was. I had to put a couple things before that, so I didn't.
Priorities. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what about? You know what? It goes in what we were talking about the other day when you said that you keep on seeing that fool on the news that is getting in trouble because he gets in the backseat of his what do you call those Tesla? Well, I don't know if you know this, but it's like I'm not trying to be all like, down on Teslas at all. But I find this to be completely surprising that I didn't hear this until recently. I guess like the local news did a story on it, and firemen hate Teslas because apparently they have an electric battery. And if it crashes, if the Tesla crashes and the battery burns, they said it takes like, I don't know, it's ridiculous, like 10 or 12 huge fire trucks to put out the fire because it just burns and burns. And so now, horribly, they said that they have tried and they cannot get it to a safe point where they can extract somebody that might be burning in there. And so I find that to be extremely problematic, to say the least. You know what I mean? So I don't know, this automatic, AI thing driving itself and then having something that won't stop burning. And then they said also now they just, to not waste the water in California, there's a drought. They just, if obviously there's someone who's passed or they got out somehow, they just let it burn. And they said it was crazy. I think for 48 hours, kind of like, how tires burn forever, but this thing burns for 48 hours. And I'm like, there's got to be more research that these people, these billionaires put into their product, because that just freaks me out. That right there makes me not want to get one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh,
yeah, that's a little scary.
Way scary. I'm like, what in the heck? So strange. Okay. And what about, I was going to ask you, it was something along the lines of the spontaneous combustion lightning, but I forget. I guess I'll go into this. It's back in here. Okay. So do you believe that there's legitimacy into ancient civilizations like Atlantis and like Lemuria, or things that are not proven, but talked about maybe from like ancients and stuff? Do you think that that's a possibility, that there was advanced civilization throughout the millions or thousands of years, and then something happened and we restarted, basically, like, I guess Noah's Ark concept, that kind of thing?
I think it's really possible. I mean, I think the best example is the Egyptians.
Yes.
I think they were how the hell did they build those pyramids?
Oh, dude, that's so funny. I got to show you. Well, that's one of your questions, is to ask you, what do you think was the true purpose of the Great Pyramid?
I have no idea.
I'm obsessed. Look, I don't know if you can see it. So I was obsessed my whole life on Egyptian stuff. I just am. And so I have watched 1,000,000 ancient alien shows and history shows about the Great Pyramid and how they found residue of like some sort of citrus, something that would make a battery. And so they were proposing that the top of the pyramid was some sort of power plant, ancient power plant, something like that, rather than a tomb. And so it just intrigues me because, I think that civilization, as much as they had that was so intricate, you never know what, I think that you never know what in the world was on this earth before, and then I'm not trying to shade, but then you have the Bible thumpers saying that, the dinosaur bones and all of that is just to trick us. That's, the dinosaur bones that we found.
Dinosaur bones are to trick us?
That is, you've never heard that? Oh, my religious people, they tell me that the UFO I clearly saw with 3 other, like 2 religious, 1 not, people is that's Satan. He put that memory in my head so that I would doubt God and think that there's possibly other creatures that was made by God. I'm like, God, it's so patriarchal. It's so egotistical. Like, ugh. So yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story about my mom and the aliens?
No, let's get it on. Let's hear it.
Okay. So my mom has a couple of crazy stories that she would talk about, but not a whole lot. And this is one of them. So she was really young, and it was her brother, who was older than her, and then her mom and her dad. Okay. It was when her mom was alive, so she was younger than 7.
Okay.
So they were driving to the next town over to go to a film, like a movie.
What state? What state? Was it by you, where you are?
It was, so they lived in Yuma, Colorado.
Okay.
And they were driving to Ray, Colorado.
Okay.
So out in eastern Colorado. And so she was driving, and it was in the middle of the day, she said. It light out, probably a 2 o'clock movie or something like that. And they were on their way. And then the next thing they know, they are facing the opposite direction. So they're facing back home, and it's nighttime.
Girl. Yep.
And none of them have
any recollection, right?
Of anything. And nobody knows what movie they saw, if they saw a movie, nothing.
Oh, that gives me the chills. Oh.
And her family, of course, because her dad was not a very nice man, was like, nobody is talking about this ever again. Yeah.
Don't we love suppression? Don't we love that? Oh, my gosh.
So, and apparently around that time, there was a couple of calf mutilations in the area.
Yeah.
So
that spells it all out to me, because look, we did the opposite. I don't know if I told you this part, but we did the opposite. We were supposed to take 3 hours to get from Salt Lake City Airport to Mancos, by Dolores and stuff, Durango, Colorado. And so we were so freaked out when we got home, and we thought, remember the popcorn you called to find out the time? We were all going, you call popcorn. We made it there in an hour and 10 minutes. It's physically impossible. And my uncle was a truck driver, so he was all about calculations. Like, there's no way. So we didn't, lose time and just show up somewhere. But we were just, as far as we know, we seen the UFO. We pulled over hysterical, thinking the cops were going to come, because we thought, I don't know, you're just in denial when things like this happen to you. You're like, no, you don't understand. There's something the size of a mountain, and it wasn't making any noise, and it was like staying still in the air. I'm like, they're here. They're coming. Call the guards. Call the army, right? So we were naive. They said, no. Call MUFON, blah, blah, blah. So we were so freaked out that all we remember is, of course, driving the rest of the drive and talking hysterically until we got there. Well, when we walked in, my Uncle Mike is the first one that said, oh, that's wrong. The clock stopped, Glenda. And when we realized that it was really only an hour from the time our flight got there, we were just like, I have the chills now. There is no explaining. I think that definitely, my truth is that other entities do have the capability. I think it's nice of them to kind of do that Men in Black thing, somehow make us have that brain fog that we get maybe when we come into this physical existence. You know what I mean? Because there is no explaining that. I mean, we went over so many scenarios, like, because we were scared. So I said, Uncle Mike, could you have made that much time driving like 120? But we didn't drive 120, and so there was just no explanation. But I've heard what you said your mom experienced time and time again, even by a very skeptical friend of mine who's a truck driver, seasoned, real burly dude. He's like, swears that that's happened to him 2 or 3 times, where it's just that same scenario. He's going one way, and then all of a sudden he's going the other direction. That is crazy. That's crazy. Have you ever seen anything like anomalies, like in the night sky, like lights or anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, man, I would not wish that, only because it just took me too damn long, like 20 years to kind of be okay with it. Like, to be able to like say, this is what happened. It's your reality. I could not put that into my reality. You know what I'm saying? And blend it together. It was very difficult. Yeah, very, very hard. So that is so interesting about the Great Pyramid that, what did I say? I said, oh, a tomb? Is it a worshiping place? Is it ceremony? I was like asking. Okay. And so I wanted to, we talked about that, about divine timing and how certain people collide, like one will save one person and then 10 years later, they'll be in a different location and save the other. That's my other question. Okay. Okay. So for you, I think that you and your calling now is to serve like the consciousness, the soul's collective consciousness by seeking fair justice. Like, I feel that is such a beautiful thing that's inside of you. You really want fairness. You want people to have advocacy that don't have, anybody to stick up, and also for people to be acting upon things, because, the police work and all the things that we talked about. Just sometimes things get lost in the mire. So I was saying, is there anything else that you are compelled to look into? I know you said you sought answers regarding the ND, but is there anything that really also is on your radar as far as you think about it, every once in a while, like, ooh, I want to either help that, or I want to get into that, or I want to look into it. It could be anything, like geology. Is there anything that calls out to you since your NDE that's different?
I would say probably just my ancestry and trying to figure out who and when and how. I think it would be really cool to figure out who came over and how I got started that way. Yeah. And I've never really ever cared about that before.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, I would say just, like you said, justice stuff. Yeah. And it seems like things find me. I don't find them.
Yeah. You know what? It's the truth. It's the truth. I heard someone talk on a near-death experience, or it was actually a woman. I guess she's been doing interviews because she had one in the 70s. And she said literally she would just be going to take a train and some guy would come in and be like, hey, how are you? And he's all, well, let me tell you something. I died once. You know what I mean? And so she just said it was uncanny how many, when you have your purpose, what will gravitate to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of divine. It's a beautiful thing. What do you think that your most, successful or like proud moment or emotional moment that you felt like fulfilled so far with, what you do, Justice in Flight? Is there any specific moment or moments that you're like, okay, I did something that makes my calling, like it makes it not, of course it's worth it, but just sticks out in your mind?
There's quite a few of them, honestly. I mean, there's quite a few that I've helped with families, and either we found them alive or deceased, and it still
closure.
Helped the family. I would say the one that was the best or the most memorable to me, there was a family, I think they were in Connecticut, somewhere over there anyway, and they had a family member living in Las Vegas, and he was living with his uncle, and he had some mental health issues, and he kept leaving the stove on, and his uncle didn't like that, so his uncle kicked him out. And so his family paid to have him ride a bus to them, but he had a transfer here in Denver. Well, he didn't make the transfer and he got lost. And so I spent, I think it was 2 or 3 months looking for this guy. Wow. He was a hard one to find. We finally found him, and he was behind, he ended up, because he was kind of special. Yeah. And so he was hiding away from people. Yeah. He was hiding behind in this like apartment complex, and a couple of people were feeding him. But he had lost a ton of weight. He was a really heavy set guy, and when we found him, he had lost a bunch of weight. And, but what was nice about that was usually when we find somebody or whatever, the cops are the ones to call the family. Okay. But in this situation, I was the one who got to call family. Wow. So the one that I have been talking to for that whole time, I got to call and say, hey, are you sitting down? We found him. And I could just hear her just hit the floor and just, she's screaming, crying, and was so excited. And so it was a really good experience.
That is life, right? That is life. Love and interactions where you just feel that natural power of love, like someone who loves or can share that. I love that. That is cool. That is cool. So is it something that's legal? Obviously, the police have to notify the person or whatnot. Like that's what's usually the case. Obviously, they are in charge of all that. Do you work like, for instance, if you go out and do your investigations, do you have to notify the police like on everything that you're doing or no?
No. Okay. Usually if we go on a search, we notify the police just to let them know that we're in the area and what we're doing. But usually they don't even care about that. And in some of the cases, depending on what they are, we don't. If we know that we've done it before, they don't. That if it's like one case we've been on for a long time, and each time that we would call, they'd be like, "Why are you calling? Okay, thanks." So now we don't call anymore when we go out. But if we ever find anything or whatever, we call. But usually if somebody's found, the cops get involved and then they take care of it. In this case, I can't remember.
I'm just glad you made that call, that because you had put the emotion into it.
It was super snowy out, and they had it to where you weren't supposed to, here in Colorado, I can't remember what they call it. It's like winter.
Whiteout? Like a whiteout?
No, not a whiteout, but they call it like a winter alert or whatever, where if you're in an accident or something, you just get the other person's information and you don't call the police because there's so many accidents.
Okay.
It was one of those days, so police were having issues handling all of the stuff.
Yeah.
And he was out of state, so they didn't really have much to do with him anyway. So
poor guy. He must have been so scared.
So we got him a hotel room for the night, and then we got him a cell phone, like just a prepaid track phone or whatever.
Yeah.
But we made sure we installed like a
tracker
Find Me app or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we got him on the train the next day, and then we made sure he got on the train. Yes. And then he only had one stop that he had to get on. But we made sure that he was on the phone with family when he did it. And so he got there fine. And then as soon as he got there, his family admitted him to the hospital just to make sure everything was okay. Yeah. And to make sure, because he had lost weight and he was diabetic, just to see if he was still diabetic and all that stuff. So
that must be terrifying, like to lose your child that also has some special accommodations that need to be made. And you know what I mean? That just must be terrifying. I mean,
we took a case late last night, early this morning. It's a case she's been missing, I think, since July 30th.
Oh, God. Okay.
And she has, I can't remember if she has cerebral palsy.
I was just going to ask you if it's cerebral palsy. I don't know why. That came into my mind.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm going
to have to look now that we're...
No, seriously, you have to look because I do not know why out of all the things that I've worked with, Down syndrome, autism, all that kind of stuff, I do not know why I said cerebral palsy. In my head, as soon as you were saying that, that can cause like one of my really good friends. I used to babysit her, but she's only, I'm 44, she's 30. Julia, we should have her on one of these calls. She is so cool, but she, I guess the spectrum of cerebral palsy is it does cause, some slow mechanism with her speech and thought process and all that stuff. So that is just so crazy. Oh, did you send something?
I did. I sent you her poster.
Okay.
Her name is Felicia Martinez, and she did go missing July 30th. She does have cerebral palsy with motor and speech impairment.
Yes, that's the right word. Thank you. Okay. Oh, sweetheart. What is the one on the right? I can't really zoom in. What is the picture on the right? Oh, a tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is in your local area, Colorado?
Yeah, it's in the south. She was last seen in the southeast Aurora area.
Aurora. Okay, let me try to. I'm trying to get the zoom back on. Here we are. Okay, so that is. She looks young. How old is she?
She is 38.
Oh my gosh, that is so sad because I just cannot imagine. A lot of the students or people I've worked with special needs, they have a big emphasis on social, interactions, and it frightens them. So I imagine for that boy, the little boy or the guy that you were talking about with the missed, transfer, and in her, it's just hard for them to ever, go up to somebody, you know what I mean? If they were lost, you know what I'm saying? I feel that they would stay in that perpetual cycle, and it breaks my heart.
Apparently, because of her disabilities, she is very easily to trust people. And there's a person that she was last known with by the name of Lucky Puppy.
Oh, I don't like it.
He's known by.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So that's who she was last seen with, and that's all they know. I sent you 2 other pictures of her.
Okay.
I think she's in a wheelchair normally, and then she uses a cane too. So she's our new case that we took on.
Okay, I'm gonna show this to the YouTube camera. Oh, sweetheart. You know what? I hope that this does not come out. There's the picture of her. What is her name, sweetie? Let me see if it's up here. Let me see. Oh my gosh. I hope she's being cared after and such, because I know that for my friend, it can be painful in her shins and such. So you know what? I do not want to, I feel guilty saying this, but I'm just going to tell you because it was channeled so strong. So first the cerebral palsy was channeled, and then I don't know why, but there's, that girl called Elizabeth Smart that was, okay, for whatever reason, that came into my head. Not that she's, passed away, but that she might be with a male that is kind of having, you know what I mean? And so that is odd that you said that it was a guy. And what kind of, that sounds like maybe like a gangster name or something? Lucky Puppy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
That is.
So it says, seen with Lucky Puppy. Short, heavyset, Caucasian male, red hair.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like it.
She has multiple tattoos, the heartbeat EKG line on forearm, dolphin on torso, and then she's born with cerebral palsy and motor and speech impairment.
Man, and you know what sucks about that whole scenario we were talking about how somebody has these kind of, whatever we want to call them, disabilities or conditions. It just kills me that there are people out there, and not judging, but judging. There are people out there that will even prey on those individuals, like bully them and cause them to be, upset to commit suicide. Or that is definitely a man who would have weird type of motives. It's like, that is so sick that somebody could do that to somebody, knowing that she does have motor skill and learning, I'm sure, like impairments and things like that, just trusting, like you said, the social thing. And so,
Well, I found out in doing this, I had the missing for children and endangered persons group. They told me whenever you have a missing children case, to make sure you take down every single missing poster that you have of them after you're done. If you have one up, cover the whole thing saying that they've been found, because what people will do is they go through and they'll look through missing persons flyers to find the ones that have been found to re-get them, if that makes sense, because they know that they're easily manipulated.
Of course.
So it's almost like a shopping
predator.
spree.
Yeah. Like a supermarket
Yeah.
sweep for freaks. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My God. This world, I'm telling you, because it's just sick the way that, the grooming happens in any kind of, we won't pick on anything, but I'm just saying, the religious sector or the Boy Scouts, it's like all these big group things, is because they know that it is easy prey. They're, away from their parents, and if they're in choir or if they're at Boy Scouts or whatever. It's just so sick that people actually preconceive, that and go and definitely pluck people. It is too common. Oh my gosh.
Well, and the like dating, like it really bothers me when I see profiles with children in them. Like either men or women. I don't think they understand that there's women and men out there who are looking at the profiles, looking at the children.
Yes.
To take them.
Yes. So much so. I mean, they are grooming. That is their predatorial nature. It's sick, but it's true. Like, I'm sorry, but every time I come across this like vibe, like I worked in the school district, there was a PE teacher, male, and he was, way over retirement age. We're talking about like 87. And it was just disgusting the way that he would, the vibe he put off, first of all, and the way that he would say like strange things like, oh, isn't it funny when they jump up and down? I'm like, what? Just people don't act that way. And it's like, he had told me that, he was in the Army and that, yes, he knew he always wanted to work with children and teach them yoga. And I'm like, oh, wow. And it just is, people that are up to no good like that are going to seek out a job, of course, that has that. And that's just, it's a real scary, perverted world. I tell you what. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Pretty gross.
It is pretty gross. Like my daughters, I mean, they haven't had anything major, but I remember my daughter was about 15 and I was so pissed because you cannot go and even confront this person or whatever. She was walking over busy, like it's like a throughway, it's an overpass. And she goes to walk. Oh, are you there? She goes to, did you cut off, babe? There you are. Hello. So she goes to walk over the overpass, and without any time to react, some guy came up behind her, and she's wearing a skirt, but it was like down to her knee. So he pulled up the skirt in 2 seconds, ran up, pulled up his skirt, and put his hands up the to her butt area and her private, and she just was so devastated. And I was like, it's sad as a mother or mentor or some other woman, you have to tell them, hey, that is horrible and let's talk about it. But let me tell you, there is so much other stuff that people go out of their way, to do to people. And it's just you can't even go into like walk over an overpass. You know what I mean? It's so crazy.
Oh, I know. It's so sad.
It's so sad. It's so crazy. There was my 19-year-old job. I was a receptionist and no clue. This manager of mine, he was kind. He had a wife who was 8 months pregnant, and he calls me in the office, and I started to get freaked out because it wasn't sexual, but he said, I've always fantasized about washing your hair. Can I pay you $200 to wash your hair? And it was the way he was saying it. It freaked me out. So I got up and I have to go back. And when I stood up, he said, oh, my dad, listen to this. He said, listen, here's a Christmas present. Do not open this until you get home. He didn't know I was daddy's girl at 19. I lived around the corner in a studio apartment with Aaron already. But so I was already, my spidey senses were like, this is weird. So as soon as I was done for the day, I couldn't wait. I got in the car. I opened it, girl. It was a dildo. So that was my first like, oh my God, this is going to happen in the workplace. So I drove right to my dad's, not even Aaron's. And he picked up the phone. He's like, I want to talk to the mother at CEO right now, and so the guy ended up getting fired, but they asked me, he's an expecting father. They were all males. They're like, we were just wondering if you want to press charges or do you want to let him go back to his family and just his firing is enough. So I said, okay, his firing is enough. Do you know that half of the workforce, which is 300 people, turned on me thinking that, I don't know, I was cheating and that I just had made up some scenario and stuff. So it's just so strange, the things that people, not just men, I don't know, people think is okay to I'm going to say, oh yes, thank you for this. Thank you. I had just turned 19. It just is like, oh my gosh. So yeah, the most, wow. Yeah. Wow. I know we need justice in that department needs to be pursued. Like that gymnastics thing and the Epstein, just watching those documentaries, how so many in so many years happens. I'm like, that's just too bad. You know what I mean?
Well, I was reading a news article about that Gabby Petito.
Yes.
This girl, her dad, it was an article about her dad, and it was about how the dad doesn't care what Brian Laundrie's notebook has to say, because, they found his remains in the notebook. He is concerned that while he's looking up domestic violence, he's concerned that the statistics are 1 in 3 women will that have experienced domestic violence. He's upset that he didn't know that and that his daughter succumbed to that. and that he wants something to change with that. So I couldn't believe. I thought it was like maybe 1 in 5, but like 1 in 3, that is outrageous.
Outrageous. And did you know that when I took this class about it, that they said, I swear on my life, 85, I know it's over 80, 85% of the women who are murdered in this United States are murdered by their partner, their husband or partner. And I'm like, what? Mind blown. So 1 out of 3, that's just so sad. Isn't that kind of similar, the sexual predator thing, 1 out of 3? It's like, that's too much. That is just too frequent. And the domestic violence is so, I think, a taboo, unspoken, like certain cultures, I think that, like certain, I guess I will speak for like the Latin culture, like my husband's Chilean, but I know that there's a lot of Latin, they want to have everything kind of in their own community, in their church, and kind of work it out, not saying all demographically, like, Hispanic communities are like that, but it's just, there's sometimes in different cultures, like a stigma of telling on people. For instance, a really good friend, shout out babe, he lives in Jaipur, India. He says that, there's like a guy and he punches his wife. There's people walking by. You would get beat up if you tried to intervene. You know what I mean? So it's so much of a private type of thing. And this is like, cities, buses. This is very, fast forward city. So it's just like there is definitely a lot of work to do regarding that. You know what I mean? That is so sad. What do you think that was the scenario with that guy? I think that he just went and killed himself right away. What is his name? I always forget his name. I know Gabby. Yeah. Do you think that he was on the run and his parents covered for him, or do you think that he went? I think he went and just did it. He was.
I don't know what to think. At first, I thought his family covered for him and he was on the run. But now that they found his stuff like that, I don't know. But I don't like that his family found his body.
That is so weird. What is up with that, Britt? I was going to ask you about that because you do those investigations. How in the world, and did they get contacted by a psychic? I mean, how did the mom know to call the police and say, hey, show up here right now? What in the world?
Yeah, that's the only part where I'm like, but the story goes, it's the first day that the park's open.
Oh.
They knew that he frequented that area. That part was underwater, supposedly, at the time they were searching.
Okay.
And now it wasn't. So it kind of makes sense.
Do you think it's something to do with her mother intuition? Like on that day, everything kind of collided like the universe did. She knew where someone was dead. I don't know. I find it to be awfully strange.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that they lied about the day and it was a day earlier.
Yeah.
It's weird that they even let him leave the house like that.
Right?
It's weird that they didn't call the cops
for 2 days, right? For 2 days?
Well, it was more than that. Because they said he went missing on, first they said Wednesday, and then they called on Friday, and then they said it was Tuesday, but then it turned out it was on Monday.
That's so weird. Do you know if they are they definitely able to identify through the DNA of the remains?
No, the DNA was inconclusive.
What? That is so weird.
So they have to send it to an anthropologist, and they're doing it through that and DNA records. But through the DNA dental partials, they're saying it's him.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I have a really strange feeling that something was hokey. I mean, it could be as far-fetched as the parents got mad and the dad did something to him. If it is like he's an abuser, maybe it comes down to the family, line. That is just so strange. Oh, I like the area where you're getting out. Are you getting, it's just, I can feel almost Colorado. What are you going? I feel like it's like a vista or a walking area. I want to get out and walk. Are you back home?
John for lunch.
Oh, hello. Well, you want me to let you go and then we can carry this. Hello, John. Hello, people. Hi. We will continue this, but I don't know. I'm telling you, like, time goes by like sand in the hourglass with you. I'm just like, oh, maybe we've probably been on here for an hour, but I feel like it's like 5 minutes. I love it. But have a good lunch, my darling. And then if you want to continue, call me back or whatnot after you're done. Chilling with John or something. I'm doing, I left today absolutely open. I have nothing to do except for go to the post office. So.
Okay, yeah, I might give you a call after lunch.
All right, sweet love. Give me a call. Okay, bye, hon. Have a good one. Love you, sweetie. Bye. Okay. I don't know how to turn this thing off. I don't know what the heck. Let's see. End live stream. There we go.